welcome to another episode of Speak Geek, your favorite place for pop culture, video games, movies, TV shows, wrestling, and other cool geek stuff. I almost forgot what I was going to say, like all the shit we talk about, so I was like, run through the list of my How you doing, Josh?
I am doing fucking fantastic, Tony. It is good to be back. Guys, we're back. It's been a couple weeks, man. There's a lot to talk about. This is also like therapy for you and me, so this is fucking fantastic.
For sure. For sure.
The world's been a crazy place.
Up a little. Huh? Go ahead.
I was gonna say the world's been a crazy place the past, couple weeks since we last have spoke. But man, we have had some good, exciting stuff also happen, dude. So I'm stoked to be able to talk about it finally.
Yeah, exactly. Now, with that being said, some of this news is going to be a couple of weeks old, but that's par for the course since we only do this every couple of weeks.
And deal with it, guys. All right.
Regardless of whether it's.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, regardless of whether it's old news or new news or whatever kind of news, I'm sure it'll be fun to sit and talk about it and give our thoughts on it. So,
Plus,
what were you going to say, dude?
I was going to say, plus, gives us a couple weeks to sit here and look at the news, verify, confirm some things, take some stuff off, and just kind of
digest.
Digest. And half this shit, like, I don't even know about until we podcast about it anyway. So it's fantastic. There's a lot of people out there like us who don't keep up on this day-to-day, week-to-week, hour-to-hour. So we're here for you guys.
Yeah, we're all grown-ups. We've got jobs. We've got families and kids. I mean, don't forget this show started off as Geekdom with the Single Dad. I mean, we're parents here. So.
And my wife was unhappy with that name. So we're okay now.
I remember. You know what? I don't blame her.
But dude, hey, on top of all this, man, thank you guys for everyone who's been listening, downloading. We see it. We appreciate it. You guys are awesome. The fans that we got listening to us. Thank you. This is a passion project. I know for me, and it's just fun. So thank you guys for listening and following along with all of our bullshit and geekdom that we have.
Yeah, for sure. And for those who don't know, we launched a YouTube channel. Nothing fancy. It's literally just another avenue for us to push the podcast out, in addition to places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, whatever. So it's all it is it's audio, of our episodes. And, if you'd rather watch it through YouTube, go ahead and find Speak Geek on there, hit subscribe. Let us know how we're doing.
Absolutely, and don't worry.
We're not big time yet, so we can read every comment you write.
That's right, and our ugly mugs are not on there. It's just audio of us, so don't worry about it.
I was going to say, don't worry, you don't need to look at us. If you'd like, we can put up a still photo of, I don't know, like a Ryan Reynolds and Bradley Cooper or something.
Old photos of us from when we were between the ages of 3 and 5 and just put them up there, and that's it. Just old baby photos of us. And what's going on? Just make it very uncomfortable.
Yeah, between the ages of 3 and 8 for me, I had the Asian boy bowl haircut.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
So yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I tried to purge that from my memory, but I mean, all you other Asian guys know what I'm talking about. We all had the same haircut for some reason.
Oh my god, that's how you start a fucking Saturday morning, man. I love it.
So let's get started. We're gonna kick things off with some gaming news first this time, and so did you play Anthem, Josh? Were you an Anthem fan? Because if I recall, I brought it up before, and you said you never got into it.
Yeah, never an Anthem fan. Not so much, no.
So when Anthem first launched, I was super excited for it because, number one, it was made by BioWare, and BioWare makes great games,
Yeah.
And during that time, I think it was late 2018, early 2019. I forgot when it launched. But during that time, I was super into the concept of live service games. Because I was into Destiny, I was into Borderlands, just all these live service games. So I was like, okay, cool. BioWare is going to make a live service game that's, heavily steeped in their RPG roots, like when they did Mass Effect and Dragon Age and all that. And this just doesn't look like it could possibly be a bad thing. Then I played the beta when it launched, and it was so much fun. It was because, when you're in those Javelin suits and you're flying around, it literally feels like an Iron Man simulator.
Yeah, shit.
It's so smooth. And it was a lot of fun. I was like, great. So I plopped down my pre-order, which, lesson learned. Then Anthem came out, and for the first week, I was super into it. I was like, this is the greatest game ever. And, I finished the campaign, and then it just kind of... This is almost my exact same experience with the Avengers. Just after the campaign ended, everything just kind of screeched to a halt. There wasn't enough endgame content. There wasn't a lot of loot. I've said this in previous episodes, way back in the day. Like, for a looter shooter, it just wasn't very looty. Like, your loot was all bullshit, and it had kind of a confusing crafting system, and just everything about it was half-baked. Like, even walking around in your hub, Fort Tarsis, was a pain in the ass because you moved so slowly, and there was no way to speed things up. And they promised all this endgame content to launch after the fact, like the Cataclysm event and everything, and it never fucking happened. It just never happened. And I think 2 months or so after Anthem launched, just people stopped playing it.
Really?
And it basically died. So long story short, Anthem just kind of sat in limbo for a while. You know, I would go back to it every now and then just to fly around in the Javelin, but, you know, I never really put any real time back into it. And last year, they announced that, hey, look, kind of like what No Man's Sky did, where they redid everything.
Yeah.
Well, and it's now this great game. We're going to do that to Anthem as well. It's going to be called Anthem Next. We're going to completely overhaul everything from how you level up, how you craft, just everything we're going to redo. We're going to re-release it as Anthem Next. And I was really excited for that because Anthem had so much potential. It just never lived up to it. Well, unfortunately, a couple weeks ago, EA announced that BioWare has been pulled from, or the developers from BioWare that are working on Anthem Next have been pulled and put on the Dragon Age 4, and Anthem Next is officially canned. Anthem is, I'm a little bit sad saying this, Anthem is officially dead.
So I think that it's fine that it's dying, because I wonder if they're going to put more of their time, energy, and everything else into something new. Because you look at what happened with No Man's Sky, for instance, like you brought that up, and the amount of time and effort, extra money it took for them to go through and do all that makes me wonder, like, is this why they're deciding, like, hey, we're just going to kind of go on?
But think of it this way. Hello Games is now, today, after all the work they put into No Man's Sky, Hello Games is now the thing that people bring up as an example when they say, well, developers can turn it around when you launch a shitty game. Just look at Hello Games and No Man's Sky. So all the people that were working on Anthem Next got put on the Dragon Age 4, which also announced that they will not be a live service game like they previously said they were going to be. It is just strictly going to be a single player experience, which, you know, hella fucking Lulia on that, because, you know, if you're going to do live service, do it right. Don't do it like the Avengers or Anthem or, you know, countless other half-baked live service games out there that just don't get the flow of content like they're supposed to. Yeah. So I'm glad Dragon Age 4 is, you know, EA kind of backpedaled. I think they saw what happened to Anthem and they were like, yeah, we can't afford to repeat this mistake. So that's good news. But yeah, a part of me is sad. I mean, for what it was worth, I enjoyed Anthem. You know, I still think its flight mechanics are probably some of the best flight mechanics in any type of game, which was why when I was Iron Man in the Avengers, it was so disappointing, because I was like, all they needed to do was just redo what Anthem did, but it just didn't ever feel as good. So you have this game that's not supposed to be Iron Man, where you feel more like Iron Man than a game with Iron Man.
Well, maybe that was the problem. And again, maybe there's going to be something coming in. Maybe they get rid of Anthem 2, they keep it as a classic, and they move on to something else. And maybe they develop something where it's more Iron Man or something new. I mean, again,
it's a classic for all the wrong reasons.
Well, I mean, what more could you ask for at that point? There's a lot of classics for wrong reasons.
I know, seriously.
I mean,
but yeah,
so me, I mean, I'm kind of glad that we're seeing this from game software and developers, because, like, I just recently am starting to play Gears 5, and it's fucking awesome. It looks great. It's so much beautiful.
Isn't
it
great?
It
so
is,
gorgeous.
Dude, it's so gorgeous, and it's actually a fun game. But I'm like, dude, this is the 5th fucking Gears game. Like, where's the originality? Where's something different? Where's something new? And I like the fact that, you know, we're not going to see a sequel to this. And, you know, hopefully we get something new and a new story and a new game and a new arc. Because, again, while a lot of these games are classics and stuff that we're getting, we're getting rehashes. And I want something new, finally. So maybe that's what we're going to get.
Yeah. Which is why it was so fresh to see something like Ghost of Tsushima. You know, completely original IP. It wasn't based off of an older, game or anything like that, and it blew everyone's socks off. Even shit like Hades on Switch. I don't know if you've played that. And I went into it with a lot of trepidation because I really fucking hate roguelike games. I just don't like them. Grinding to that level is just not something I can do anymore at my age and with how busy I am. But someone talked me into getting Hades, and it's one of the most brilliant fucking games I've ever played. Even with all the roguelike elements, just the voice acting, the humor, and everything about it is so great. So you never know. I mean, I understand, and this goes in terms of Hollywood and TV as well and everything. That's why you have shit like Young Sheldon. I understand. I understand if you're at the corporate level and you're like, look, we need to create something. Why not dip into the well, something that everyone already loves? I get it. But you're absolutely right. At some point, well, what are you going to do? Gears 15? Mm-hmm.
Exactly, dude. And that's where it's kind of where for me, I wasn't really into the Gears game. So for me playing Gears 5, it's pretty sick. I don't really feel the need to go back and play any of the other Gears games because they give you a fucking rundown of the story. Exactly. And it's cool and all, but at what point are we going to get different characters, different developments? But this is also the same problem that I have with Star Wars. Like, we just sat through 9 movies of the Skywalker saga. Like, are you kidding me? Like, everybody in a galaxy far, far away is somehow related in this group of 9 people. Are you fucking kidding me? But, like, I need the originality. I need something different. And this is just me becoming burnt out with the same rehash stories and rehash movies. So for me, I want something different. And while it's beautiful and it looks great and it's awesome, I want something different. It's kind of becoming, I don't know, lazy in a way, I think. That's why, like you said, Ghost of Tsushima was a huge step up. And what made it so good was that it was made by Sucker Punch, who made great games. And it was something different because I honestly feel that if it was made by Ubisoft as an Assassin's Creed type game, which honestly I think that they would have done it first, it just would have been a rehash of Assassin's Creed, but as a ninja. You know what I mean? So I think that's what sets it so far apart and makes it so good. So, I want that going forward, a better change and some originality, because like you said with Young Sheldon, I didn't watch Big Bang Theory. I think I watched like 17 minutes of it, and I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen.
I despise that show.
Right.
I despise that fucking show. I put like 2 or 3 seasons into it, and I just can't.
Like, and again, I hated the show Friends when it was first on, when everybody was into it, and I just now got into Friends about a year or so ago. I didn't find Friends funny, so maybe.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was not a huge Friends person. A few years ago, pre-COVID, me and my wife went to did the Warner Brothers studio tour, and we did the whole Friends lot tour and everything. And even then, I wasn't a huge Friends fan. I just liked it. I was like, oh yeah, Friends is cool. But going back and watching it, I'm like, oh my god, it's great. It also does not hold up, and there's a lot of problem with Friends, but it's funny. Just like there's a lot of shit with Seinfeld. Yeah. Anyways, so maybe years down the road, Young Sheldon or Big Bang Theory will grow on me. Same with some of these games. Like maybe I'll go back and I'll have that affinity for Gears 3 that some people do, or like these people who want to hold on to, why can't I play this PlayStation 1 game on my PlayStation 5? I don't have that with anything. So, I want more new. So hopefully that's where we go with this.
Yeah. And I understand if you're going to rehash a franchise, it is possible to do it right. Just take a look at God of War. Mm-hmm. They had 4 core God of War games before they completely revamped the franchise, and it became this brand new thing. And it was one of the most brilliant games we had in 2017, 2018. Yeah. So, I get it. It's possible to do it. But now we're going to have God of War Ragnarok. And so along the lines of what you were saying, what are we going to get? Another 5 God of War games in this new universe?
Right.
And then what happens? Reboot it?
Dude, and we saw the same thing with the Tomb Raider series, and they rebooted Tomb Raider, which not to take away from it. It was great, but they're following, video games are following the movie trend. Just like we had the original Spider-Man trilogy, the second trilogy, the third trilogy. They're following it.
Yep.
And give us the originality, man. Don't just change. Don't take a classic and put new technology into it. Make something different. Give us originality, because
that's why Parasite was such a breath of fresh air.
Yes, that absolutely. Or Midsummer was a breath of fresh air. are going.
I still need to watch that. Everyone I know is telling me I need to see that fucking movie.
How about this?
Because
I own
so
the digital.
brilliant.
I own the digital copy, and there's two versions. There's the director's cut, which is like 30 minutes longer, and the original version and theatrical version. Watch the director's cut because that 30 extra minutes changes the entire movie, for me at least, and makes it a whole different experience. Same ending, same story.
Okay, I'll need to borrow it then because I only have the theatrical one free on Prime, which I was gonna watch.
Yeah, no, the theatrical one I watched first, and I fell in love with it, so I just bought it. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. And then me and Nat watched the director's cut, which was longer, and it was like, it wasn't like watching, it was just like, it wasn't like rewatching the movie, it was like watching a different movie because it just, the drawn out pauses, the story, the additional scenes, how it's told, it's a different experience, and it's very rare that you get that with a director's cut. So definitely check it out.
I agree. Yeah. So, okay, well, since we were on the topic of, not to sound like a dick, but since we were on the topic of failed live service games, let's move on to the Avengers Next Gen patch release date, which is dropping on March 18th alongside the Clint Barton Hawkeye DLC.
Yes.
In addition to this, I also read that they are revamping the way you level up. So here's my thing. Once you get from level 1 to somewhere along the lines of, like, I don't know, level 49 or whatever, it starts to become a lot harder to level up. You know, going from 49 to 50 took about as long for me to get from like 1 to 25.
Yeah.
You know, so I was always, I don't know if I was in the minority or majority in thinking it this way, but I was always with the mindset that, man, it just becomes too much of a slog once you get to those high levels. And I can't see myself doing this repeatedly with all the characters because it just took too long and it was too much of a grind.
Yeah.
So now I'm reading that alongside this next gen patch, Crystal Dynamics is also saying, well, we're going to revamp the way you level up. So it's even harder to level up once you get to the higher levels. And I'm like, wait, what? Why would you do that? Because it was already a huge grind to begin with.
Dude, see,
so maybe I misread it, but I don't think I did.
No, I don't think. I watched the video that they released too, when they were talking about like what they're going to do, a revamped gaming system, more Hulk smash stuff, and I'm very excited about it. But Marvel,
it looks great. I'll give them that. It looks absolutely fucking gorgeous, and I can't wait to play in 4K, in 4K 60.
Me neither. And I'm gonna use my brother as an example. Hey, Bubba, what's up, man? So he got a PlayStation 5, and I talked him into getting Avengers because he is a huge Thor fan. Dude even looks like Thor.
Yes, he is.
It is what it is, man. So he got the game. He never even got to the Thor part. Like he quit. He was like, oh, okay, yeah, it's cool, but I really don't care anymore. So it's going to take...
Well, that's too bad because the campaign was the best part of the game.
So he's going to get back into it, but this whole time he's been told, okay, cool, it's going to be upgraded. We're going to get these updates. I'm going to wait.
Oh, I see.
So now it's coming, and it's going to take a lot to get him away from this to get him to start to want to play this when he just started God of War for the first time, because he's been an Xbox guy forever, so he's never played God of War. So he just started God of War.
Oh, he's in for a treat then.
Right. So, you know, so how are you going to, and he's a huge Madden guy. So is this going to be enough to pull my brother away from what he's into now to go play Marvel's Avengers? And I think that's where Marvel...
Maybe if the three of us jump on and play, it would be enough to, you know, because that's playing together with someone is a completely different experience.
Absolutely. Because when I played online with you, it got me into wanting to play the game again. So I like what Marvel's doing, but so back to your point, like to do the upgrades and stuff to make it harder, someone like my brother or someone like me who wants to get in for an hour and a half and play, my character's never going to reach that level where I'm that high because I'm not going to want to put in the fucking time to do it. So why make it harder?
Yeah, it already took me forever to get Ms. Marvel to that point, and after that I was fatigued. I was like, I'm not going to do this with Black Widow and Thor and Iron Man.
Bro, let me tell you how shitty I am with this kind of stuff. I have beaten God of War regular, and I've beaten God of War on New Game Plus, and I'm only at a level 8.
Nice.
So that's how shitty I am at putting in time to upgrade this stuff, because and it's not like I don't have enough of the fucking points to do it. I don't want to go through the slog of doing it. Just let me fucking go play and have fun. So it's like a completely different fucking thing. So I hope that by making it harder, you get more rewards with it as well. So when you upgrade from 49 to 50,
I hope so.
It's fucking worth it.
Yeah, it's not some wristband that's like a level 23 and you're like, well, I just need to dismantle it because it's worthless.
Right. So have you played the Kate Bishop yet on here?
I played like 2 missions, but I wanted to wait for the upgrade to just go through that and Clint's.
Okay, yeah, because see, my problem with Avengers, and I think you and me have talked about this a few podcasts back, is that every single level is the same. It's repetitive. It's the same like 3 to 4, 5 levels.
It absolutely is. Same bosses, same enemies. It's all the same shit. There's like 5 levels.
So I'm hoping that with Kate Bishop and with Clint Barton, which it doesn't seem like we are, but again, I haven't touched them. So if we're wrong, tweet at me, please. Like, are we just getting Kate Bishop and Clint Barton in the same fucking levels going up against the same boss, just different stories and different things they're doing? Or are we getting
so far from what I've played, yes.
Okay. Because
so far from the two missions I've played, it's that same shit. I think the first level I played was the Eastern Seaboard level, so it's the same shit. You're just in the city running around with the aim bases in the exact same spots and everything like that, with like 1 or 2, upgraded Adaptoid enemies. Yeah. And then again, I haven't played ahead. Maybe I'm hoping I'm wrong and there's some new shit, but from what I've seen so far, it's just new characters in the same locations with some like very small tweaks to where you go and whatnot.
And that's sad. And it sucks because the war table is huge when you look at it. And the Avengers catalog, just from them taking from comic book lore, there's so much stuff that they could do. Now, I understand it's expensive. It's an undertaking. They have to make money. And they're releasing games the best as they can. That's cool, man. I get it. But this is the same thing that I had with Cyberpunk, with No Man's Sky, with those games. How long are we going to continue to let you, okay, well, here's some more stuff, here's some more stuff. Yeah, and Anthem, before I demand something new. Like, okay, cool, man, but I'm glad that I have Hawkeye now and I can shoot some arrows in the same level that I just went through and destroyed everything as the Hulk. Can I have something else now?
Yeah. It's just weird because I grew up... Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were done. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. I'll say, but I'm still going to play the fuck out of it when it comes out on March 18th because I want to see it.
You and me both.
60 frames per second. But I mean, I'm just not.
You and both. And I'm at the point now where I need to figure out what game to delete from my hard drive because it's filling up really fast.
Yes, it is.
So I was going to say it's just funny. Excuse me, that I'm talking about this grind because I grew up playing JRPGs. Like the original Final Fantasies on like. Not the Nintendo, but like the SNES. And I just grew up playing all these JRPGs. And one of the hallmarks of the pure JRPG experience is grinding, level grinding. You repeat and you do the same shit until you hit a level where you can beat the boss, you rinse and repeat. But the big difference was I was 17 back then and I didn't have a whole lot of shit to do.
Yep.
So I could easily sink 15 hours a day into level grinding in a Dragon Quest game. Now... You're telling me exactly like you said, I have an hour at best
right
to play, at best. And it's not even an uninterrupted hour.
Right.
So what you're telling me is if I have an hour at best and we spread that out over the course of the month, you're telling me I'm going to be stuck at the same level? Yeah. That's just not, it's not appealing.
Well, and that's where it makes it hard for me. And that's where I have a hard time, with a lot of these games. And we'll talk about this when we get down with like Final Fantasy VII and all that kind of stuff or games like that. Like I just don't have the time to do that. And it's hard. But like you said, we grew up playing these games that very long. I remember when Final Fantasy VII was 4 discs? 6 discs?
I believe so. I mean, I'm sitting here looking at Final Fantasy VIII right now that I still have for my PS1, and it's got four black ass discs. Yeah. You remember those black discs?
Yeah, I do. That's how I knew. That's how you knew you were cool because like they were like that cool like black dark purple color look, and you're like, yeah, these are badass. Yeah, but I mean,
and my kids were like, "What's wrong with that CD, Dad?" I was like, you know what? That's a really good question. Don't know. They just came like this.
Sony wanted to be different, kids.
Yep.
No, I mean, I'm just hoping that it's improved for the better, which it seems like they will. They're not just going to put out shit. I have the feeling they're going to make it right. It's going to be good. I'm excited for what's going to happen. I'm hoping that we get, more, and I'm hoping that when the Suicide Squad...
We're going to get Black Panther and Captain Marvel and Spider-Man for sure. Those three absolutely. Know.
Well, that's why I'm hoping that when that they step their game up with Marvel's Avengers because they know the Suicide Squad game is coming out and what that's going to be like. So I think it's going to be kind of interesting. But again, I will play it March 18th. It's getting frustrating doing the same shit. So we need difference, guys. Come on.
We're going to have a busy day March 18th. We're going to be playing this and watching Justice League Snyder Cut.
And Winter Soldier Falcon.
Is that the 18th as well?
Is it the 18th? I thought it was the 18th. Unless it's the 16th.
Well, either way, that week is going to be a pretty nerdgasm-y week, and I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly happy with that. I need more of that, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right, let's move on to this this rumor. Well, it's kind of a rumor. It's almost like a confirmed rumor, but take it with a grain of salt. It's not a for sure thing, but it is from Bloomberg, which is a pretty decent source, not some bullshit like, I don't know, the Illuminati or something. No offense to them, but that's just the first one I pulled out of my ass. So ever since the Switch came out and then they announced the new Switch Lite and then like a new Switch model with a better battery, everyone's been kind of like, hey, we know, there's going to be a Switch Pro at some point because, that's just kind of what consoles do now. You release a base console, then you release a Slim, then you release a Pro, and then you release the next gen.
Yep.
That's just how it's been since like PS3.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, yeah. So now there's rumors that there is going to be a new Switch model. It's going to be a 4K when docked. So it's not going to be like the Switch Lite where you can't dock it.
Good.
It's going to be a 4K when docked, and then it's going to have a 720p OLED screen. Now, I'm jumping online after I saw this news, and a lot of people were crying about the 720p screen because that's what we have now. But I don't think they're realizing that the difference between the screen we have now versus an OLED screen is going to be a gigantic fucking difference.
Yes. And
resolution. Graphical
about
fidelity is not just about resolution. I mean, there's other stuff at play.
Well, and that's also a big reason why a lot of gamers stayed with plasma TVs for the longest time when they were at 720.
Yeah,
because just the darker blacks and the whiter whites and just
the contrast. And
it was just so absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm okay. I don't need this. This isn't really quote unquote a next gen Switch system, but me knowing me and being me, I'm gonna fucking buy it.
Oh, of course.
It's a bigger screen too. It's 7 inches. The Switch right now uses a 6.2 inch screen, so that's going to be cool. And people also have to understand this: a 720p resolution at the handheld level. Sure, I would have loved 1080p, or sure, I would have loved 4K because fucking phones and tablets can do 4K right now.
Yep.
But are you really going to notice a difference on your 7-inch handheld screen? No, probably not. No. I'm just happy that this is rumored to be getting 4K when docked because shit, that's where I enjoy my 4K anyways, on my 65-inch Sony X900.
Absolutely. And
so my question for you, Josh, is when they do release this 4K Switch model, will it be just games moving forward, or do you think they're going to do some sort of upscaling for the older games? Because you have to think of it like this. I know I'm talking a mile a minute right now, but I just thought of this. You have to think of it like this: the chipset that the chipset and the graphics card and everything that the Switch uses, there's no way they can push out 4K natively like the Xbox Series X and the PS5 can. It's just no way. It has to be some sort of upscaling. That's all they can really do. So, do you think they'll be able to go back and upscale something like, I don't know, Super Mario Odyssey to 4K?
I would think so. I think Nintendo knows what they're doing, just like you could go through for the longest time and play your original Nintendo DS games on your 3DSi.
Yes, correct.
The cartridges carry over, and Nintendo is good with that on the handheld side. On the game side, not so much, because you had Nintendo, then Super Nintendo, and then you had GameCube, and every single thing was a different variation of a game. But Nintendo wants people to invest in a Switch and carry it for years and years and years and years and years. Nintendo does not want people to keep dropping hundreds upon hundreds of dollars every couple of years for a new system. They want you, Tony, to be able to go get a Switch Lite, a Switch, or a Switch 4K and play the same games across all the boards, whether you've invested $1,000 in your games before or you're going to invest $1,000 in games going forward. So,
and just look at the Switch sales compared to the PS4 and the Xbox One. I mean, the Switch basically shat all over Sony and Microsoft.
And Switch is for the family. That's something that Nintendo has made a point of. Like
you're absolutely right, because that's the one I play with my kids.
Right,
the
like,
most.
Me too. Like we'll play a few games with whatever, but we'll sit out and we'll play Mario Kart, or we'll do Mario Party, or we'll do
Smash Brothers.
Yeah,
whatever.
just whatever it is, because it's a family console. Nintendo's going to do that, so they're not.
I'm gonna play the shit out of Mario Golf.
Oh, dude, I can't wait for fucking Mario Golf. Oh my god. Oh, we're gonna play online. I can't wait.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, dude,
with motion controls.
Oh, yes. I just think that for sure that they're going to be able to upscale other games, because even now when I hook up my Switch into my my 85-inch Samsung 4K UHD whatever the fuck it is TV, it looks beautiful and the colors pop. And Nintendo also is they're a cartoon game company, so it wouldn't be too hard for them to pop the colors and darken the blacks and make these games pop.
Animal Crossing, Mario, fucking Pokemon, all those games
Luigi
are just
Mansion,
made for
all
color
of
pops.
Stuff. Yeah, I mean, just
yes.
I mean, it's simple enough where the slightest changes for Nintendo just make it better. So yeah, I think that they'll do this, and it'll just be another product in the family of Switch games that, hey, if you're ready for it, here it is, and if you're not, get its younger brother or younger sister. You're gonna get the same.
Yeah. I have the original Switch. I was lucky and got one, not on launch day, but within that launch window of like a month, 2 months. Yeah, my friend Swetha that I used to work with, she just invested in a Switch Lite about a year ago, and it just. You're right. I like seeing these variations on the console itself. It's kind of like the PSP and then the PSP Go. It all play the same shit. Or no way, the PSP Go didn't play the UMD discs.
No, it just had
the digital, right?
Yeah, it was all digital.
My bad. So I take that back. But I like seeing these variations that you don't absolutely have to buy. It's not like going from the Xbox One to the One X where you're dealing with a significant change with HDR and 4K and Ultra HD Blu-ray and all that, where you kind of have to upgrade if you want it.
Yeah, no, and Nintendo also, too, I think Nintendo does right, is that they use cartridges as opposed to discs, and you can fit so much more data and so much more graphical power on those cards, and you're not tying your hands to a disc or to, okay, we have to get this game under, 80 meg. You don't have to do that. Like, it's easier with the cartridges, because
cartridge tech has changed a lot since the N64 days.
I mean, like, no bullshit, dude. I'm looking at it right here in my hand that you ordered, and right here, 400 gigabytes on this little tiny micro card.
The memory card, yeah,
on this little.
You remember how much 400 gigabytes of micro SD used to cost,
bro? I'll do you better. When I was going through and I sent you a picture of when I found my PSP the other day. I found my Sony memory stick that came with it, with the 256 megabyte memory stick. Like,
because it was all proprietary back then too.
Right, and then I had it was a 4 gig stick, and I saw that 4 gig, and I was like, dude, that shit was like $100 back in the day for a fucking 4 gig. Like, I mean, that shit was not.
Yeah, I had a Vita, and you had to buy their proprietary memory sticks then too, and it was like $100 for some shitty expansion.
Right. But, like, it's crazy to think that, like, these SanDisk, micro disc, like, micro memory card things, 400 gigs, they work so well, and you can store so much data on those things that, like, Nintendo knows what they're doing.
Because it's all solid state. There's no moving parts. Everything loads super fast, which is why I'm hoping that by the time Sony finally says, hey, we're going to unlock that NVMe slot for your, expanded memory SSD drives, I'm hoping by that point these M2 SSD drives are going to be a little bit cheaper, because right now, if you want to get a 1 terabyte or 2 terabyte or whatever, it's an arm and a leg.
Yep.
I bought a 500 megabyte for my PC, and it was like on sale. It was like $80, and I was like, oh my, that's a good deal. I better snatch it up now.
Yeah.
And it was 80 fucking bucks.
It's well, like when I was in 2007 and 8, when I was deployed, man, we used to have a shared drive where you can just download movies and games and all that kind of stuff from. Movies, games, music, books, and I remember buying the MyBook terabyte like external hard drives.
Oh, the WD.
Yes, and I remember I had I think there were 2 or 3 terabytes. Anyway, I spent like $300 and something for these things. Yeah, like a piece, and of course they got stolen when your luggage gets shipped back from the Middle East. But anyways, I just remember that, like, how expensive that was just to do that. And then I'm like, yeah, my PlayStation has 2 terabytes in it, like nothing. So it's just crazy.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at my Series X right now. I've got 2 terabyte hard drives hooked up to it in addition to the 1 terabyte that's in there already.
I'm glad
is
you
it
brought,
1 or 2?
I was gonna fucking ask you that. So you can hook up 2 externals to an Xbox and it'll still work, right?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Can you
there's a limit to how many you can hook up and the capacity, but as of now, I have 2 separate 2 terabyte drives. Don't ask me why, it just worked out that way. One of them is my drive for strictly backwards compatible games, dating all the way back to the Xbox.
Yeah.
And my second one is my current generation offload drive. So when I need space on my internal, I'll offload games I don't play onto that one. And I don't touch that drive except to offload shit.
You did it. You son of a bitch, you did it. You figured it out, man. Like, I've been sitting here trying to figure this shit out. I know I could use 2. Ah, you're great. Can you do the same on the PlayStation 2 as well, on the PS5?
I don't believe so. I do not believe so.
Come on, Sony.
You can have more than one, but you can only have one operating at one time. So if you have 2 hard drives, you would have to like unplug one, plug the other one.
Okay,
so
that's
not worth it.
It ain't worth it. Because I have an extra one.
Maybe in the future, but not now.
Well, see, I have an extra one, and what I wanted to do, because I still have my PS4 Pro and my my Xbox One X, and and I have them for the kids, and I wanted to take my games. And, that way I can put them out like in our game area and have them out here and be able to play my games back and forth. But part of me just kind of wants to sell them because I know I'm not going to play them that much and I could use the money. But because, Game Pass alone makes my Series X worth fucking heavy just so I can sit out in my garage and play Madden or something,
Oh, for sure.
So, but I was thinking about selling the PlayStation, but I don't know, man, my PlayStation feels like it's my kid. So, like, just now, like, I'm upset that I can't use 2 hard drives on the PlayStation 5 and I have to unplug it, and it makes me mad because, like, but I'm not mad, I'm disappointed in PlayStation like a parent because I look at my PlayStation like my child and I wish it would do that. I wish it would actually fucking do that.
Well, I mean, I feel you because there's a reason why I still have my PlayStation 2 and why I dug it out. What was it, a month ago?
That's like I don't want to get rid of my
dusty
PS4,
as shit, and I had to buy a new component cable for it because they don't fucking make component cables anymore because everything's HDMI.
Yeah. Well, see,
so I had to buy an adapter.
Yeah. Well, that's crazy, dude.
But hey, now I'm playing SSX3 and Madden 2005 because why the fuck not?
Well, another reason I wanted to keep the PS Pro, which I'm not going to need anymore, which brings us into the next one, is because of my PSVR that I've had, and like I pulled it out because of the Iron Man. I bought a couple games. But PlayStation just announced on February 23rd that they have the next gen VR system coming out for the PS5. Now,
so
I know
on that note, anyone who wants to buy a PSVR, the original one, hit me up. I don't think I'm ever going to touch mine again.
Thank you.
I haven't touched it in a year. Yeah, and I
free shipping.
I don't want to go into too much of this, but I'm dealing with a lot of headaches and stuff because of my new glasses, some neck issues, medication, and all that. I just don't think VR is a great idea right now.
Plus, I have my Oculus Quest too, which is better. I'll say it's better.
That's true. Yeah. So let's move on to this then. There's gonna be a new PSVR. This is official. It was announced on the PlayStation blog, and apparently, it's only going to be a single wire, which is pretty cool because you remember what a pain in the ass the hookup was for the original one?
Dude, bro, that's what I hated about the last one is that it
was like 4 wires.
Right, it was 4 wires. They were heavy. It always felt like the headset was kind of being pulled to one side if you had to stand up or move around. Ugh.
Yeah, you had to have that extra. You had to have that extra that extra unit that you plugged in. And then that part had to go into the TV and the PS4, and then the wire into the headset.
Dude, it was, and then you couldn't keep it. And then for me, because I had a PS Pro, I couldn't keep the VR plug in all the time because the box that hooked up to the TV only passed through 1080p. It wouldn't pass through my 4K VR.
Correct. Yeah,
so it was fucking, for me, it was a double pain in the ass.
It was less of a problem for me because I had the base PS4, so I just left it in. But then at the same time, you have this weird little box sitting up there at all times, It
did look like a mini PlayStation.
We're at a
it was
kind
of cute. I'm not gonna lie. It looked like a little PlayStation to me.
I'll give you that. It looked like a little PS3 Slim.
It did. I was like, oh, it's kind of cute, like a little baby on top. But still, I get what you're saying. Back to being angry about
it. Yeah, there you go. But so single wire. I assume this means it's not going to have a separate processing unit like the original one has. So, I mean, credit where credit is due. That means it's going to do it all, I guess, within the headset, which is pretty impressive. It's just, VR is like, it's like 3D and curved screens for me. It was cool for a year or two. I definitely see the appeal in it, especially with something completely wireless like the Oculus Quest. I for sure see the appeal in it. But at the end of the day, I am never, ever, ever going to put as much time into a VR system as I am, my PS5 or whatever.
Dude, same. Like,
I'm old, man. My fucking brain can't handle playing stuff in VR for more than like 20 minutes at a time anyways.
See,
I get dizzy now. I used to not, but now I do.
See, I don't have those issues like at all. But dude, like for me, it's just.
Well, you're still a young whippersnapper.
Yeah, that's it. Not by much, but yeah. But fucking for me, dude, I like VR, but I run hot. It's like I get super sweaty. So when I'm wearing the headset for
same here.
Like it starts to fog up and it kind of becomes a pain in the ass. I'm like, holy shit, this thing fogged up. But I love my Oculus Quest. I'll sit out here, I'll play fucking Pistol Whip, or I'll do oh my god,
dude, yes.
I sound stupid. The Creed games, or I'll do
Dude, Angry Birds is what I put the most time into.
Angry
and
Birds,
that football one.
Thank you. Yes, and the 2D football game. You can tell how long I've actually turned on my Oculus. It's been a while. So yeah, I'll put on those games, and they're fun for an hour or two, but then like I can't do them anymore. Then my Oculus sits in a corner for 3 months.
You'll be glad to know that even though I'm like you and I run hot and my PSVR got really fucking gross after about an hour,
right?
You'll be happy to know that I never ran into those problems with your Oculus Quest that I borrowed. So I don't have any sweat goblins on there or anything
so
like
much.
that.
It's okay.
It ran surprisingly cool. I was very impressed at how comfortable it was.
And that's where I was gonna say that if it comes to getting VR, I'll stick with Oculus until because they make you have to have a Facebook, and I'm still kind of against that. That's the only reason I have a Facebook is for my fucking Oculus, anyways. But like you said, Oculus, it's lighter, it's more comfortable, it's
and to call out racists.
What's up? Oh yeah.
And to call out racists.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. But aside from that, man, Oculus is dope, and that's where the future's going. And I feel like if more companies invested into something like this, like if PlayStation did their own standalone VR, like an Oculus that didn't have to be powered up to PlayStation, it would be huge. If you haven't played an Oculus, it's fucking awesome. Like just the 3D aspect and getting in there, playing Vader Immortal, or doing the pistol whip where you feel like you're fucking John Wick, or Super Hot VR, or Creed, or Beat Saber, Angry Birds. All this shit is so cool. But I don't, when it's 10:30 at night, I've been hanging out and I'm feeling pretty good. I don't want to sit around and move my couch and move the table and put my headset on and get a fan on so I'm not all sweaty. So, yeah. So, anyways,
Do you remember when Samsung was releasing those little VR headsets where you slip your Samsung phone in?
Dude, I had Google Cardboard back in the day.
Same. So if they can release a standalone, or even with a single wire, I don't care. Yeah. If they can release something that sized, that was that comfortable and that small and that light, but with the processing power of something like an Oculus Quest or the new PSVR, I think that would be huge. Because right now, I think the bulkiness is what turns a lot of people off.
Well, I just don't know if there's been such a demand for VR after the PSVR.
I agree.
That they need to invest much money into this. So is this PlayStation's way of saying, hey, look, we have a lot of this stuff that we've been working on, so we're just going to release it and get it out? Or is this something that they're seriously working on developers for? Because VR is cool if you give me a game to do VR in. Like Resident Evil 7 in VR was fucking cool, and it was pretty scary.
Oh my god, yes it was.
Yeah.
Scary as fuck.
But the level where you're, like at the beginning, where you're inside the garage and you got to fight the guy with the car, I don't get motion sickness, I was getting motion sickness. Playing Doom VR was fucking a blast for about 15 minutes until everything's coming at you so fast and you've got to move the controllers and move your thumbs and try to shoot. Is just way too much. But with the Quest,
Doom is hard non-VR to begin with, just because it's non-stop and I get super sweaty and out of breath playing it.
Right, just sit on the couch like a normal person. So I hope that PlayStation looks at what works and not just tries to take VR and put the PlayStation name on it, because It just in a prime example of a perfect standstill VR, in my opinion, to show you what you can do with VR is I expect you to die. It's a VR headset game where basically you're a James Bond type character. You got to break in and break out and do stuff.
Oh yeah.
But it's completely stationary, but it is fucking fantastic. And PlayStation should stick to more stuff like that. But it's a gimmick game. Same with like Boss Simulator or Vacation Simulator. That's what VR is for. Stick to that for now, PlayStation. Leave the other stuff to Oculus because they're partnering with Lucas Studios and everything else to build these games. They're not building a 2D game, then a year later develop it into 3D.
Yeah. And I'll admit to this, and I don't really give a fuck. I'm not embarrassed about it. When I first got VR, what was the first thing I did?
Watch porn?
Take a wild fucking guess. Goddamn right. I was like, I'm going to watch some porn in VR. This is going to be awesome. I don't give a shit. I went online. I Googled how to use I forgot what VR headset I had back then. I was like, I'm watching some fucking porn with this. And even that was weird as shit.
On your PlayStation?
Even that, I was like, whoa, this isn't going to work.
Well, first of all, I was joking. That sounds like a lot. Second of all, I didn't even know that was a real thing, man. Like... That's crazy. That's weird.
You know, what it ended up being.
I mean, I'm not judging you. But there's a hint of judgment.
What it ended up being was basically like watching porn if you were sitting in the front row of an IMAX theater. That's basically what it ended up being.
Well,
so yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't like the perspective was all fucked up. So. You know, you have like this giant tit leaning into your face. It's like, it looks like it's 13 feet across and you're like, what the fuck is going on here?
See, guys,
it wasn't as great as everyone thinks it is.
Guys, this is why you subscribe to our podcast, because you're going to get the insight that you're not going to get anywhere else.
Yes. Would anyone else tell you that VR porn circa 2011, 2012 was going to look like, you know, a 13-foot boob in your face? No one else will tell you that.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
You know what's the funniest thing about watching porn in VR is you're sitting there, the movie's going on, and you're looking around because, you know, it's supposed to be this immersive environment. And I'm starting to notice shit like, I wonder what that book on the bed, the end table is.
Oh,
or that's a nice looking vase.
Oh man, Tony, that's amazing. I'm just glad you didn't do that with my Oculus, did you?
No. Oh, God, no. Why would I borrow some shit and then watch porn on it and be like, here you go, Garrett, have fun?
I don't know, man. It was 2020.
So, no, Garrett, I swear to God, I did not watch porn on the Oculus, then pass it off to you.
Oh, boy. That's fantastic.
Oh, shit. All right. Let's move on from the VR porn. That took a weird turn. But, hey, we've all tried it.
It's only weird if you make it weird.
And I have to admit, it was pretty fucking weird. So let's move on. So Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now, I wanted to bring this up earlier when we were talking about grinding. I think you'll like Final Fantasy VII Remake because it's not the same gameplay system as the original Final Fantasy VII. This is actually like an action game now. Like, it's not turn-based. It's a really fun game, but yes, you do have to truly love Final Fantasy, I think, to really get into it. It means more to people who played the original because now they're expanding the story into X number of episodes. So it came out right before Next Gen launched. And I will say this, for a last gen game, it basically looks Next Gen as it is. So I went back to play it about a month ago, and I was like, oh shit, this is since I'm fucking spoiled now and can't play anything under 60 frames per second.
I do the same.
I was like, you know what, this 30 frames per second shit's not really gonna fly with me. So I was like, if they're not gonna upgrade it, fine. Maybe when I stop being a little bitch, I'll go back and finish it. But in the meantime, maybe. I guess I'll wait to see if they I guess I'll wait and see if they ever upgrade it. And lo and behold, at State of Play, they announced that they are releasing Final Fantasy VII Intergrade, which it's a free upgrade for existing owners of Final Fantasy VII Remake, and it also serves as a quote official PS5 release of Final Fantasy VII. So yeah, you're gonna get new lighting, you're gonna get the 4K 60 FPS, which I'm really happy about.
Yeah,
a new episode Yuffie, which I guess it's only gonna be on the PS5. since I don't even, anyways, whatever. So it looks fucking fantastic, and I cannot wait to play it. It arrives on June 10th. I think since it is one of the free games right now on PS Plus, I think you should give it a shot.
Okay, I haven't really played a Final Fantasy game in a very long time because, again, I wasn't into the turn-based, and that took a long time. But kind of listening to you describe it, I'm like, all right, man.
And you won't have to deal with that.
Okay. So then...
Think of it almost as a Dragon Age game now.
Okay. Well, then I'll check it out because I saw it for free, and I'm like, do I want to take up the space for that? But... No, but I'm curious. So,
at least add it to your library and redeem it, so when June 10th drops, you can upgrade it.
So that's what I was going to ask. If I do that to my library, will the free upgrade come that way, or do I actually have to purchase the game?
No. Because the same shit happened with Control. We ended up getting it for free, and we got the Ultimate Edition for free.
That is correct. And see, I like
these upgrades. These upgrades are all so far. They're other than maybe one or two instances like Call of Duty. So far, they've all been free. If you want it,
that is true.
Giving you these upgrades.
Unlike Tony Hawk, which wants to charge motherfuckers money for it.
For the disc version, yeah. That's a weird fucking thing to charge for, isn't it?
Yeah, because
if you have the digital, it's free. If you don't, you have to pay $10. What is that?
No, I think that's stupid. And I'm sorry, man, but if you invested your time into this fucking money into the game, don't charge me to upgrade it, man. I think that's stupid, whether you got disc or digital.
And if you're gonna charge, then fucking charge everyone.
Right, because now all you're gonna do is
just say it's a $10 upgrade. Just say that.
Right.
It's a $10 upgrade, digital disc, whatever the fuck it may be.
Yeah, but right now these motherfuckers they lost me on that. I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. Tony Hawk made enough money. I don't need to give him or his company or whoever the fuck made the game any more money. Sorry, fuck off.
It's just weird. I don't understand the business decision behind that. If you really break it down, why just disc owners? I don't get it.
Right. And then also too, which means that they knew that these systems were coming out when this game came out. So they should have just either released it all digital or all disc and then just fucking make up your mind. Either you don't charge or you charge. But instead they're fucking over the people like me who are disc owners. So dirty bitches. Yeah. Fuck off.
So, all right, before we move on to movie and TV show news, I want to take a second here to, well, first of all, do we need to take a break?
Yes, let's take it. Let's do a quick 4-minute break.
Okay, I'll tell you what. We go do whatever we need to do. I'm going to read this ad, and then we'll come back.
Sounds good. I will be back. You go. Good luck, sir.
All right, thank you very much. I want to take this moment to talk about an opportunity if you are thinking about starting your own podcast. When I started this show, I tried out a variety of hosting platforms. Off the top of my head, I started with Buzzsprout, which is what we're using now. And I was like, I don't really want to pay, X number of dollars a month. So I went with a bunch of free ones, and they were fine for the time being. But I kept finding myself coming back to Buzzsprout. I don't know why. Just everything seemed to work better with Buzzsprout, and there weren't as many niggles with who you can release episodes through and all that stuff. So as of right now, obviously this is what we're using. We're back on Buzzsprout. I don't see myself leaving just because everything works and everything is smooth. Getting your show set up in Buzzsprout is so freaking easy. I mean, it's basically a guided setup where they help you, upload your show, get your RSS feed set up and all that. You can choose between a number of subscription tiers, including a free tier, but you do have to understand it's a limited free tier. You only get X number of hours per month, and I don't think they'll keep your episode uploaded forever. It will eventually disappear. So keep that in mind. Buzzsprout also has a great audio player that's super easy to embed on other websites. If you want to go to speakgeek.com to check out, just pull up any episode, take a look at the Buzzsprout player that's on there. It's gorgeous. It looks really nice. It's easy to use. And they also offer tools to create a great looking podcast website if you don't have one already yourself. And they give you detailed analytics to see how people are actually listening to your show. But I think my favorite thing about using Buzzsprout is the crazy amount of podcast platforms that your show can be listed on. And Buzzsprout does most of the grunt work for you. I mean, you just have to follow one or two steps and your show will start popping up everywhere from, Apple Podcasts to Pandora. I mean, there's an entire page on Buzzsprout just listing off all the places your show will be listed on. So that's pretty cool. So podcasting, I mean, if you're going to start one, it's not hard when you have the right partners. And the team at Buzzsprout is passionate about helping you succeed. Join over 100,000 podcasters already using Buzzsprout to get the message out to the world. Excuse me. If you're interested, follow the link in our show notes to get started. Not only does using that link let Buzzsprout know that we sent you, but you will also be supporting our show and will get a $20 Amazon gift card if you sign up for a paid tier. All right, and we are back. Let's get on to some movie news. The Mortal Kombat trailer dropped a couple weeks ago, and I watched it probably a good 5 times in a row. And I even went, hey, kids, check this out. I don't care that it's inappropriate. Look! As they ripped Jax's arms off and blood went everywhere. It is what it is. So what did you think? Because I'm one of the... I don't want to say I'm one of the few people, because this movie has kind of since become a cult classic, but I fucking love the 90s Mortal Kombat in all its cheesy glory.
Yeah. I mean, Goro himself was... But
a part of me has always wanted a true vision of Mortal Kombat, and it looks like this is what we're getting, and it's coming out on HBO Max.
Okay,
so thoughts?
Dude, first of all, that trailer was badass, and it took what I liked about the old school movie, which was like just as over-the-top, campy, cheesy video game aesthetic of it.
Yeah.
And it made it...
And the theme.
Right. And it made it more like today grounded. The visual effects look good. We got fatalities. Yeah. We got the blood. We got the
finally.
I'm excited for it because this, to me, looks like what a Mortal Kombat movie should be. Just kind of like...
Agreed.
But... We have to be careful because you can't get too excited. Excuse me. They did a remake of the Doom, and the movie came out on Netflix, and it was an R-rated Doom movie. Garbage.
Wait, which one are you talking about? The one with The Rock?
No, they made one that came out 2019.
Wait, what? Really?
Yeah.
How do I not know this?
Because you don't pay attention to movies like I do.
Apparently not. Okay, was it a Netflix original?
No, I don't think it was. I think it was. I'm gonna pull it up for you right now. It was made by. Right. I can't remember who it was made by, but I remember hearing a bunch of hype about it, and it coming out on it's Doom Annihilation. Came out in 2019.
Wow, I didn't even know that. Okay, and you're telling me it sucked?
Yeah, wasn't very good. It was supposed to be good, but it wasn't. I mean, IMDb gives it like a 3.5. It was just an R-rated hour and a half. Go watch this movie and watch it be bloody and gory. So I'm hoping that we don't get that. It is on Netflix. Doom Annihilation. You can go check it out.
I'm gonna check it out now.
But they tried to be R and they tried to be video game and they tried to make it scary. It just doesn't work. So I'm hoping we get a little bit more.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't really like, trying to judge a movie based just off the trailer.
I do.
I got pretty hyped up seeing the trailer, and it looks like they have some pretty decent casting. The guy that plays Scorpion, I forgot his name, but he was so fucking brilliant in Daredevil. He was so good in The Last Samurai. He's one of my favorite actors, American or Japanese. On that note, I do want to say I'm pretty fucking happy that they're making a movie with a bunch of Asian characters starring actual Asian people.
Dude.
Because, look, we all love Christopher Lambert, but him as Raiden was kind of bullshit.
I don't think... Sorry. Oh, my God. You said that? And then as soon as you said that, I just pictured him sitting there as I took a sip of my water, and he has like light, on his fingers, and his eyes light up, and he's like, "I'm rated," and I'm like, "Oh my God, you're fucking terrible."
I was just gonna bring that up. Do you remember the voice he chose to use?
Right, like,
what the fuck was that?
What accent was that?
I'm rated. Yeah. Here they come.
Okay,
I was like, what?
Oh my God, that is so bad, dude. But.
And what else? They had, let's see, they had Liu Kang and Shang Tsung were Asian, and nobody fucking else. I believe the ninjas were not.
No, none of them were.
Because they looked super white.
Liu Kang was the only legit badass in that one. In the original ones. He had the hair.
I don't even think he was an actor, right? He was like a martial artist that they just pulled in for the movie.
I think he was, but he was also Chris Farley's brother in Beverly Hills Ninja.
Oh, well, I mean, done.
So, I mean, greatest.
Oh, and they had what's her name from Billy Madison as Sonya.
Yes, that's right. I forgot that was her.
Yeah, my one of my youthful crushes.
Well, dude, like I'm pretty stoked for this Mortal Kombat movie because it seems like they knew it was going to end up going on HBO Max. It seems like they're having fun with it. I think we're going to get great visuals. And I'm building my confidence with HBO Max. Like I just watched Tom and Jerry last night with the kids. And if I would have,
that was pretty good, huh?
I was gonna say, if I would have paid money for it in theaters, I would have been like, huh. But to watch on HBO Max with the kids, it was good, man. It really was. The animation looked good. It reminded me of a new take on a Roger Rabbit type movie. I really enjoyed it.
Exactly.
So I have hopes for this. Plus, they're releasing it in April around springtime. I think this is when they're going to be hoping to get more people watching it, or they're hoping more people are outside and not watching it. But either way, man. That trailer got me hooked, and I try to judge a movie based on its trailer ever since Suicide Squad. So after watching this trailer 3 or 4 times, I'm like, all right, man, I can roll with this.
But what is up with Kano being a good guy?
I don't know, man. I mean, what? How do we know Kano was a bad guy?
I mean, I guess you're right. I mean, there was that whole backstory of Sonya hunting him and everything in the first movie, but that was, if I recall, that was really only the plot of the first movie. That I don't think that was canon for the game.
I mean, there was.
Right?
I mean, I don't know if you look at Mortal Kombat, I can't really think of a story except, hey, these guys are fighting to fight the head guy, and the world doesn't get destroyed.
I'll tell you the story. It was the plot of Enter the Dragon.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know there was a story. I just used to play it at arcades and put a lot of money into them.
Oh no, that's all it was. It was a tournament held by Shang Tsung on a remote island, and people came to fight. That was literally the plot of Enter the Dragon, and pretty much every fighting game ever since.
Well, and that's why I think in the original movie they had to find a way to get Kano and Sonya and these characters there, because I mean, look at fucking Street Fighter. Like, I mean, when did General Bison want to have a city named Bisonopolis with Bison Bucks? Like, I mean, when the fuck did that ever happen in the Street Fighter game?
Oh man.
For you, the day Bison came into your village and killed your family and destroyed your livelihood was the worst day of your life. To me, it was Tuesday. Yeah. Like, I mean, it's fucking awesome. But like, that doesn't happen in the movie. There's no like Bison wiped out Chun-Li's family and E Honda was a Samoan Japanese wrestler. I don't know, man, but it worked.
Could they have found a guy that sounded less American to play the all-American Guile?
Thank you. Are you kidding me? He goes, I am American. No, you're not, bro. They could have got Schwarzenegger. Might have been a little less thick on the accent.
Every time I hear Van Damme's voice now, I think of that line that he said in Friends when he was like, I can crack a walnut with my butt cheek.
Oh my God, I forgot JCVD was on Friends. That's funny.
Oh man, I watched that episode a little while ago. I think with one of my kids, and they were like, "Wait, what?" I was like, "Just let it go.
Just let it go." Yeah, Friends is not appropriate for children in any way, shape, or form.
Dude, so much shit I watch is not, and it's already too late because I started it, and I'm like, "Well, we're here.
We're here now. Get used to it."
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I just wish HBO Max would stop doing this. It's only going to be here for a month shit, but you know, it is what it is.
I also wish they had a backlog library of 4K HDR Dolby Vision movies too. That'd be nice.
Yeah, seriously. I understand they will all come back at some point. We just don't know when.
Yeah, well, I mean, Spider-Man is only going to be in theaters, so that's going to be fun.
They say, unless this COVID shit keeps not going well, because you have stupid fucking states that had like 5 people vaccinated, and they're like, all right, we're opening back up.
Sounds about right.
So, yeah, so I don't know. Let's move on. So the Flash movie has cast Supergirl. So this comes as a surprise because, first of all, I didn't even know Supergirl was going to be involved in the Flash movie.
Yeah, not a fucking
And the more I hear about it, the more I'm like, okay, they're clearly not basing this off of the comic Flashpoint, or they are, and they're just switching all the characters around to different characters. Like, instead of Thomas Wayne, it's going to be Michael Keaton. Instead of Superman, it's going to be Supergirl, so on and so forth. So this new Supergirl that they cast, I don't know how to say her name. It's Sasha Calle or Sasha Calle or something. But she's the first Latina ever to play Supergirl, and of course that means all the racists came out on Twitter.
Of course. Of course.
All the racists came out and started complaining about a character who is not human being played by a Latina actress.
You know,
how about that?
I feel like I think it's great casting because I feel like it represents more of what Supergirl and what Superman and what everybody else stands for. You know,
and she looks more like Henry Cavill's relative.
Well, she also looks more representative. Also, too, she looks more representative of where we are at the time now of what we look at as the average person. We are a melting pot, and this, to me, it makes sense. Like, it's good representation, as opposed to being just the same, you know, white person that we see cast in everything.
Yeah, I mean, no offense to Melissa Benoist or Benoist or however you say her name. She's, for all intents and purposes, the best Supergirl I've ever seen, and, you know, she does a great job, but... I mean, how could you really be mad about casting someone who, I mean, but I don't know, man.
But I mean, like, the guy who plays the Flash on TV is really good, but Ezra Miller's playing Flash, and no one's like, how come Ezra Miller's playing Flash? It's like, okay, well, what about, what's his name who played fucking
and Clark no one's flipping a bitch. No one's flipping a bitch about why Barry Allen is brunette in live action, but blonde in the comics.
Right. Like, because... People want to bitch about everything, and this is something that bothers me, but I'm going to say that I like what I'm seeing with it. I'm going to roll this into, I just watched Coming to America 2 last night, and I also...
I need to see that. I haven't watched it yet.
I'm not going to spoil anything. I won't even talk about that. But I'm going to go into, like, Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, and I'll use this as an example. What I love what I'm seeing now is we're seeing movies written... and that are done by people like Kevin Smith, who has this history of, look at Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, look at Clerks, look at Chasing Amy, look at the way he directs his movie. And then you look at how Jay and Silent Bob Reboot ends up, and it's got Ben Affleck giving the speech about setting up the world for his daughter and for his kids, and how it's okay that girls can have just as much and do just as much as everything as men can. They need to be treated the same, and men have to step up, and just all of this stuff about fatherhood and raising women to be, and girls to be, you know, appreciated and expected, and understand that you're valued just as much as everybody else. I love that we're seeing that, and that we're seeing this take in movies where, it doesn't, in Aladdin, we just saw the remake of Aladdin where at the end, she doesn't have to marry Aladdin. She gets to become king because the king changes the rules because you know what? It's a stupid fucking rule and I'm king so I can change it. So we're starting to see this much more inclusion, and we're starting to see that there are individuals out there who don't look like me, but there's 1.5 million, girls out there who look like her, who feel like, oh my God, now I have power. You don't have to be a blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl to be represented. Just like people shit all over the Ghostbusters reboot with Melissa McCarthy and Kristen Wiig and they shit all over it, but my kids fucking love it because they can look at that and be represented.
Oh yeah, mine too.
Good time and they laugh with it. So, everybody's gonna hate everything, but fucking deal with it, man. Like, if you're not gonna flip out that fucking the guy who played Clark Kent on Smallville isn't the same guy, isn't fucking Henry Cavill, or just stop, man. Just stop. These are the same people who never wanted to see Idris Elba as James Bond, who I personally think would have been fucking one of the greatest James Bonds we ever would have fucking had. But no, it's okay because he's black.
Have you heard, I have to interrupt you, have you heard Trevor Noah's comedy routine on why there can never be a black James Bond?
No. I have not,
but I'm assuming it's because
a black man probably could not do what Sean Connery did through all those movies and not be in jail. I'm assuming.
No. He said Trevor Noah's argument was he would love to see Idris Elba as James Bond, but he was like, it would never work because most of James Bond's stories take place in countries like, I don't know, England, Scotland, Finland, whatever, Russia. He was like, the moment black ass Idris Elba shows up to the bar and orders his martini. Yeah, and he goes, the name's Bond, James Bond. He's like, the first thing the fucking bartender will say is, yeah, I know. I saw you the moment you got off the plane.
Dude, that's fucking true.
Because he'll be the only black guy there.
Oh, that's true. That's funny.
Man. Trevor Noah's comedies are great.
Dude, it's great. Well, I love it. I love it. And I love that we're seeing this. And people just need to shut up. She's a great fucking actress, man. Let's just see what happens. Yeah. And you know what, man? Like, Michael Clark Duncan was the first fucking Kingpin cast in a Marvel movie, and Kingpin was white, and nobody cared because Michael Clark Duncan was the best fucking part of that Daredevil movie.
I'm sure people cared. We just didn't have Twitter then.
Oh my God. These are the same fucking people who hand wrote letters to Warner Brothers telling them not to cast Michael Keaton as Batman because Mr. Mom could not be Batman.
Yeah.
These are the same people who were sitting
Or the
here,
guy from 10 Things I Hate About You
right,
as Joker.
there's no way he can be Joker. The same people who are now upset and crying, saying, Jared Leto can't do it. Why is the guy from Twilight gonna be James Bond or Batman or whatever? Bitch, why don't you go watch Lost City of Z and look at this dude fucking act, because old boy can act his ass off.
Or Tenet.
Yes, or Tenet. He's good. Fuck off of it. Sorry, I didn't mean to go off
while
that.
we're on the topic of, since we're on the topic of inclusion, let's kind of tackle these next two topics. So first, there are rumors that we're getting a new Superman reboot with Jj Abrams, and I'm gonna butcher this person's name, Ta-Nehisi Coates. He wrote a bunch of Black Panther comics back in the day. Yeah. I know I'm saying it wrong, and I'm sorry. And then there's also an announcement by DC WB that a Blue Beetle movie is being developed. Now, this is a big deal for both of these for two things. Number one, Blue Beetle, if they don't go with the Ted Kord version, I'm assuming they're going to go with the Jaime Reyes version, which means we're getting a Latino superhero, a young teenager Latino superhero, which is really fucking cool. And the second thing about the Superman reboot is there are rumors swirling that it's going to be this other Earth. I think it's like Earth 32 or something, where it's a black Superman who's also the president of the United States. There's rumors that that's going to be the storyline they're going with this new Superman.
Well, that could make sense. And somewhere,
if you listen really carefully, right now, just quietly, somewhere you'll hear a conservative screaming.
I think I just heard one shoot himself.
That? Yeah.
Sorry, good for you.
So
I have lots of thoughts here, and we're gonna go back over topics, and you're gonna have to roll with me on this tangent here, because I do this, and this is fun for me. Okay, so
sure.
Rolling back to what we were talking about before with Supergirl, back to what you were saying. I'm really curious to what they're doing with her, and I think they're casting her because they're gonna have plans to go forward with her for the future, and I think it's going to be to set her up for Jj Abrams and his new show that's coming out, because Jj Abrams a few years ago signed a massive deal with Warner Brothers and Warner's Media, and he is going to be doing the Justice League Dark series that's coming to HBO Max. So I think we're going to get the casting in this to lead us into that.
You just reminded me, they already set up Supergirl and Man of Steel, because you remember when Clark was inside the ship that crashed, one of the pods was confirmed by Snyder that is Supergirl's pod.
Yes. So I think that this is going to be cast, here. And like you said, she works being cast as Supergirl because she has a very Henry Cavill look to her. And it works to be some kind of relation there. So I think the reason we're getting this casting announcement, what we're seeing, is because maybe she has something to do. Maybe they're going to tie this into the Justice League movie that we're going to see. That's what I think. And also, Andy Muschietti, I really like him. Dude was dope. I loved his It movies. The dude does great horror movies. I think that it's pretty sick that he's handling the Flash, and I'm really excited to see what's going to go on with it, because it excites me. And we're also going to get Michael Keaton. We're going to get fucking Ben Affleck. We're going to get all these characters back. And I feel that all this talk about WandaVision and Marvel has really had us overlook what's happening over here in the DC world with their Flash movie, because we're going to get something here in Warner Brothers, and they've been secretly doing it because Warner Brothers has to bank everything off of what they're going to do going forward, because Wonder Woman 84 was not good. I'm sorry. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, this is fucking disappointing. This was a terrible fucking follow-up. This movie, if at this point, I still want to write HBO a letter asking for my monthly payment back, because this movie was not fucking good. Good moments, not a good fucking movie. Pedro Pascal, one love, brother. You were fucking solid. Kristen Wiig, oh, you were a goddess in that movie. Thank you, guys. Everybody else was fucking dog shit. Oh, Chris Pine. Oh, Chris Pine, you dreamy motherfucker. Anyways, so I think that we're going to see this stuff being set up. So I think that with the Jj Abrams Superman, like you were saying, being brought back up, I think that this is going to be a chance to reboot Superman. I think it's going to be a darker Superman, like you were saying, Alter Earth Superman, and it's going to be what leads us in to Justice League Dark. And I think that we're going to get a good tie-in, or hopefully with the Justice League movie, that's going to give us something to lead us into Justice League Dark, like where we're going to get a dark Superman.
Well, this is perfect. This is a perfect theory, because Justice League Dark has characters like Constantine and Zatanna.
Yes.
And they could very easily fuck around with multiverse stuff.
Absolutely.
And they could very easily go into this other Earth 30 whatever, where, you know, you have a black president who's also Superman. And here's the thing that I don't understand that people are complaining about. No one is saying we are making Clark Kent this black character now. But so also, it's like when Miles Morales first came out and everybody was like, hashtag not my Spider-Man. He's not replacing Peter.
Right.
Why can't there be two?
Right. And also, on this point right here, who the fuck cares? It's a fictional character that was drawn.
Apparently, a lot of people.
Okay, then how come these same people aren't pissed off that the Superman's tights are a different color in live action movies than it was in the original comic books? They didn't have the coloring right.
Because he's still white.
Right, because nobody cares, right? Or how come it's fucking
because when your supremacy is in question with one of the most powerful fictional characters ever, you bitch about it.
Well, these motherfuckers, and this is where I'm giving Disney their props, where they're about to introduce Falcon and Winter Soldier, where Falcon is a black man who has the shield of Captain America. So how y'all gonna feel about that one?
Dude, do you know how many people I heard when Endgame first came out? How many people I heard, both in person and online, where they were like, this is some liberal bullshit making a black Captain America. This is, you know, fucking liberals today, blah, 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 all that stuff like that. And I was like, Sam Wilson's been Captain America in the comics since like 2010.
Right.
I mean, this is not some liberal bullshit now that they're pulling out of their ass just to piss you off.
Yeah, it's fictional characters, and we are allowed, and people should be allowed to change characters when they change the times. Just like science changes, just like we no longer give people heroin and cocaine when they have headaches or sinus problems, because guess what? Science has changed. The same reason,
I could use some heroin and cocaine right now.
It's the same reason that fucking movies have changed, and actors have changed, and legislation have changed, and presidencies have changed, and everything else has changed because the world is changing. I would be so dope to see that. I would be happy to see it. And you know what the crazy part is that people are upset about the idea that there might be an alternate world Superman that just happens to be black. Not even like the main Superman, just a version of Superman is black. And it's like, whoa, hang on a second now. You mean to tell me that there might be a black version of Superman somewhere else? Not having it. It's like, what?
Have you seen the black Superman suit?
No.
I'm going to text you a picture right now from the comics of the black Superman suit. It's really fucking dope.
Why I'm waiting for this and why my brain is still tinkering here, I do highly recommend watching Coming to America. It is great. I'm probably
going to watch it tonight.
It's a pop of nostalgia. It's got heart. It's got humor. It was so well done. I started it last night. I finished it this morning, man. It was funny. I like it, and it made me just miss Eddie Murphy.
I'm glad to hear that it was good.
It made me miss Eddie Murphy.
I texted it over. You should have it.
Ooh, that looks dope. I like that suit.
Right?
Yeah, that looks good.
So, anyways, what do you feel? How do you feel about Blue Beetle?
I don't know enough about Blue Beetle, and I think that it's kind of cool. If true, then it could be like the first Latino superhero and all that kind of stuff. And I think that's awesome. But I hope that's not the only reason they're doing it, and there's a good enough story behind it to do it right.
You should watch a lot of the. They're all on HBO Max now, I believe, or most of them, anyways. You should watch some of the Teen Titans DC animated universe movies. They're really fucking good, and Blue Beetle's a big part of them, and he's a very lovable character.
I do like Teen Titans Go.
Not lovable because he's cute and cuddly. Just he's a good character.
Teen Titans Go, I think, is good. I'm hooked on that one. Me and my kids watch.
Teen Titans Go's fucking fantastic. I love the original Teen Titans show, the animation, as much as anyone else. Yeah. And I have to admit, I was one of the people when I heard Teen Titans Go was going to be a thing. I was like, fuck this. This is bullshit.
It's good.
Until I watched it, and I was like, this is the funniest shit I've ever seen.
It's good. It's real good.
When you devote an entire episode to the pee-pee dance,
yes.
I mean, you've won in my book.
Oh, there was a whole episode devoted to their their legs and their workouts or whatever, and it was kind of funny when they're talking about like their butts.
Dude, the leg one is the funniest shit with the look at them legs.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Oh my god,
look at them legs. That's it. Okay, I was watching it with my kids, and I was like, yeah, I guess this will work. It's funny.
Or whole episodes singing about how much they love pie.
Right, dude. Oh, that show's good.
Anyways.
Although I hated the fucking
Let's talk about WandaVision.
Real quick for the movie. Did you ever see Teen Titans Go to the movies?
I sure did.
At the very end when he's like, hey kids, ask your parents where babies come from. Fuck you for throwing that shit at the end of a movie there, Teen Titans Go to the movie.
Oh man!
Just so we're clear, has it out there. So everybody, if you haven't seen it yet, you can go ahead and stop it with like 4 seconds left, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so now let's move on to what I know.
With my daughter.
Oh no, not ready for that.
Well, she asked a little while ago. My ex and I had agreed, and when the day comes, just fucking tell them. That's all you can do.
Well,
you can't make up some bullshit like my mom told me when I asked, and she was like, "Oh, babies come out of your armpit." I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I go to fucking school, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, babies come out of armpits," and people are like, "What?"
Yeah, I don't know how you believe that.
I was young. I believed anything.
I'll allow it.
That was back when I was in like first grade or second grade, and my best friend at the time told me that Batman was not Bruce Wayne, it was actually Wayne Gretzky, and I was like, really?
Oh boy. You know what? We get older and we get smarter, and I feel like that's good. That's good.
It would be awesome if Batman was Wayne Gretzky, though.
Who says that he's not? You've never seen him in the same place at the same time.
This is true. This is true.
I'm saying.
So, hey.
Let's do it.
Let's move on to WandaVision. You just finished it?
I just finished it.
Heavy spoilers ahead, just like we always warn. So if you don't want to hear about WandaVision spoilers, do not listen to this next section. So I'll let you kick it off. You just finished it.
Oh, man.
What'd you think?
So I just finished it, and we couldn't have been more wrong on lots of stuff, which is fantastic, but we couldn't have been more right on lots of stuff either, and that's what I feel like made WandaVision so good, because if we would have been right on stuff, I would have been disappointed. When I heard it was over, I watched it this morning. I heard, people were disappointed. Don't get your hopes up. Blah 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 blah. Now, you and me have sat here for weeks, episodes talking about WandaVision, all these spoilers, getting excited, talking about Nightmare, Mephisto, all this other kind of stuff. Instead of just kind of taking a step back and looking at the show for what it was, that final episode was emotional. It was well acted, well shot. It was fucking fantastic.
I gotta go pee. You keep talking.
Perfect. And a great ending for what I thought what was Marvel's best arc of a character that they've done. It showed that you could do a slow burn story like this, and you can tell a story with these characters and slow burn them over time. Now, I still got a lot of fucking questions. Like, first of all, the police officer did say at the first episode, "I'm from Eastview, a town 30 miles from here. I've never heard of Westview before. This town doesn't exist." But apparently it does exist, so I guess that was just some kind of scripting that they threw out. I was kind of confused by that, but whatever, dude. I'll let that one slide. I like the reveal they had of Pietro talking about how, his name was Ralph Boner, I think, which is kind of a really terrible name to give a character. But, a long time ago, Boner was pulling a bonehead move or doing something stupid. So maybe that's what it was. I don't know. Maybe
that was a character on Growing Pains.
That was too, right? Was Boner, right?
Yeah, his name was Boner. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I thought too. His name was Boner. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff that was there, but I will say the whole part where Vision was there talking to the White Vision and the new version of himself, I thought it got confusing there for a few minutes, because I was watching it with my daughter, and she was a little confused. She was like, "Oh, okay, I'm kind of confused," but the fight scenes were freaking awesome. Again, I liked it. A lot of the spoilers, all the stuff that we thought that we knew, and all the stuff that we were going for wasn't there, but I still feel that it was, if that makes sense. I still feel like there's a lot more there that we're not aware of.
Yeah.
And we do know that they
couldn't reveal too much.
No. And I think they did it perfectly because they gave you enough to get you sucked in. And Disney said from day one, Disney didn't say, "Hey, your guys' stuff is wrong. Don't do that." And they also didn't say, "Hey, your guys' stuff is right." Disney just let everybody run wild with their theories and get themselves disappointed.
Yep.
So kudos to Disney. I thought it was a great show, and you don't need a season 2. It was a perfect story that rounded into this. I am excited for those 2 end credit scenes because, first of all, we now have another character who's coming in with the Avengers who's going to go meet Nick Fury. I love how they set up with the quotes and everything. I thought that was fucking awesome.
So I think it's pretty clear that Monica is going to be a big part of Captain Marvel too.
Abso-fucking-lutely, and I am so excited for that. I think it's going to be fantastic. I like the fact that we now have...
She was a great character.
Oh, yeah. And I love the fact that we now have Wanda who can control her powers and split herself apart like she did at the second end credit scene, how she's sitting there reminiscent of Doctor Strange while she's still living her life. Her consciousness is out studying, learning, becoming that Scarlet Witch. And I'm curious.
Oh, I wanted to ask you about that. What did you think that was? Are there actually two Wandas, or do you think it was just like in her head how she can split her consciousness?
I think
what did you think?
I think it's the same thing that Doctor Strange does. Because I mean, we saw when he was training at the beginning of Doctor Strange. So I think it's her conscience. It's her fucking. Oh, that Scarlet Witch part of her just kind of is able to step out and read. But I don't know if she can control it or if it's something that she is in control of or if the witch is in control. That's something that I don't know either because she's in there and she hears her kids crying for her and she hears them saying for her and then she takes off. So is she...
So on that note, we were talking about this a little bit before we started recording. Those who did watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the book that Agnes and Wanda had, that's the fucking Darkhold from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Well, not from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but it was a big part of that and the Runway show. So they're starting to tie their shit in a lot more together. I mean, this is something that very clearly showed up on one show and then another show and now on WandaVision. And I assume it's going to play a big part in the next Doctor Strange movie.
Dude, absolutely. And what I think too is that I think that they introduced. I think if we go back and we look at all these commercials that were in there, and we look at all the stuff that was throughout the episodes and stuff that was in there, again, I think that if we go back, there's going to be a lot more hidden in there that we're going to have to find out. There has to be more with the marquees in the back. There has to be more of the story. There has to be like we never found out what was going on with Agnes and the rabbit. We never found out like any of that stuff. Like there's so many unanswered questions that are there. And Marvel, like we had said before we started recording, Marvel is very, very good at laying the smallest plant or the smallest seed in a movie 10 years ago that they're going to pull out now. And it's going to lead down to this whole big thing that you're not even aware of.
Yeah.
And I know people...
So, I thought...
Go ahead. No, you go.
No, you go ahead.
Oh. I just thought that it was done well, and it took you on this emotional journey. I think people got their hopes set up way too high, including us. We did too. But that was the beauty of it. That was the fun of waiting week to week to digest it, to go over this stuff. Because, I mean, you've got the shark, and you've got the watch, and you've got the Stark toaster, and you've got the Nexus pills, and you've got all of this stuff that, I mean, they were there, but Wanda had to have been dropping hints about something coming up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't answered unless I'm missing something. But I was more than excited with WandaVision. I'm going to go back and give the whole series a rewatch from beginning to end because
I am too.
I feel like there's so much there that we missed. And I loved it. I loved sitting here week to week, texting you and my brother and just everybody going over theories and ideas and thoughts that we have and trying to figure this out. What's this mean? And what's this mean? And, I still think that there was a lot more of it in that's going to tie in the Spider-Man teaser that we got, with like all the hexagons that were all over the stuff. And I think that there's more there. Marvel is good at this. So I'm very excited. I'm not upset with the way this ended. It was well done. What do you think?
It was so emotional. It was her at the end coming to terms with her grief, over the death of Vision. And, as a parent, just, that moment where she's realizing that my kids aren't fucking real. Mm-hmm. If I get rid of Westview, they need to go away too. It was a fucking gut punch. It was really hard to watch that as a parent. And, where was I going with this? Oh, so what I was saying was, it was her coming to terms with her grief. But, we have a fucking White Vision out there somewhere now.
Thank you. That's what I was going to say, too. And I half expected the White Vision to be with her at the end because the White Vision has all the memories.
Me too.
He has all the memories because the Vision gave them to him. Like, so he has all the memories of everything that happened in Westview and everything before, everything leading up to day one. So the White Vision is out there. So what does that mean? Because the motherfucker just took off.
He definitely is going to have to come into play at some point in another show or another movie. They can't just leave that out there and, forget about it.
And I think that we had said this too, aside from Reed Richards or Peter Parker or somebody like that showing up, everybody was going to be let down because we got our hopes up too high. But again, though, I wasn't upset about it. Like, I'm not upset that we were wrong or that.
Me either. Yeah.
I am more than excited with what we got. And this, I kept reminding myself, this is only the first series that Disney has put out with the Marvel. This is it. Number one. We haven't even got Winter Soldier and Falcon yet, which is going to be, just from what I heard, just a great action TV show that you're just going to hold on for and go for it. I can't fucking wait for that. And
we have Loki on June 11th.
Right. And then we also got next week, we get the making of WandaVision that's going to come out. So we get one more little taste of WandaVision. So it's going to be cool.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I mean, so I'm happy with it. It was very well done. I would say if you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. But honestly, the best way to watch it is to binge it like we did. Not binge it, but watch it week to week and sit here and hypothesize over it for days at a time, not sleeping, trying to figure it out.
So while we're on the topic of Disney Plus shows, we got casting for Marvel's Ironheart show. And I wanted to ask you about this. Are you familiar with the character of Ironheart?
No, I was actually hoping you could touch on this one for me briefly.
My kids fucking love Ironheart. So Ironheart is this little girl, a little African-American girl in the Marvel universe. She's like, I don't know, like 14, 15, whatever. But she is the smartest out of everyone. She's smarter than Tony Stark. She's smarter than Bruce Banner. She's just this genius. And she created her own Iron Man suit. And she becomes a character called Ironheart.
Oh, wow.
Now, you know the Marvel Rising cartoons that are on Disney Plus?
Yes.
They were on YouTube first.
Yes.
There's one Marvel Rising movie that focuses just on Riri Williams. Her name is Riri Williams. I don't know if I mentioned that before. You should give it a watch with your girls. It's a fantastic series. I think it's perfect for their age. My kids love it.
Yeah. But
Ironheart was confirmed a while ago when Disney did that big dump of information over the summer.
Yeah. That
Ironheart is getting her own series. And a newcomer, her name is Dominique Thorne, is set to star as Riri Williams. Now, she's not unknown. She was in If Beale Street Could Talk and the movie that just came out, Judas and the Black Messiah.
Yeah.
So she's not new, but she's unknown enough to where, how do I put this? I love unknown castings for roles like this because you never know what you'll get, and you often end up with some pretty awesome diamonds in the rough.
Yeah. Well, that sounds exciting.
Yeah.
This is gonna be cool, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be I think this show and Ms. Marvel are gonna be really, really good shows for our young kids to watch because you're gonna see, and for millions of girls around the world, they're gonna see these characters that are roughly their age that fucking look like them, and they're not sidekicks or stereotypes. You have a little girl that's theoretically smarter than Tony Stark and Bruce Banner, and she's what, 15?
Dude, yeah, I don't know. Like, I think this is gonna be sick, dude. Like, I'm just sitting there thinking about this. I'm like, dude, this is gonna be dope, dude. Like, I'm looking forward to this for what's going on. And Disney Plus is doing it right, man. Like, I feel that Disney Plus is investing time and money into these series, and they're putting out quality on their streaming. They're not holding it. They're not waiting. They're not saying, oh, we're gonna wait for theaters. I mean, they kind of are with like Black Widow and a few other stuff, but we're getting quality stories because this isn't, before TV was a place where, actors felt their careers went to die. Like, when you're a big screen star and you go to TV, it's like, oh, this is over. And then you look at actors like a Bryan Cranston, who is phenomenal on TV and has written some great movies and a phenomenal fucking actor. And he can cross generational from Malcolm in the Middle, Breaking Bad, to Trumbo, to there's a couple other movies that he did.
Malcolm in the Middle, when he was...
Right, and so we can do it. So, but TV series and binging and Netflix now is the place where stars go to rebrand themselves, to make a new name, to tell fucking stories and actually do it for the craft of it. So we're seeing, so Disney Plus to me is doing this right because they're investing their money properly into stuff that fans want. So I am more than excited for what's going to happen going forward, and I think that Ironheart's going to be great because we could use more like this.
Yeah. And I forgot what I was going to say, so let's move on. I don't really know what to make of this next piece of news. So apparently Kevin Feige, I don't know how to say his name. Feige. He was saying that Deadpool 3 was going to be the only R-rated Marvel movie that they're going to put out in the near future. So that, you know, obviously got people thinking, well, that Blade movie that's coming out, is it not going to be rated R? So what do you think? You think he's just talking shit and there will be further R-rated movies or what? So
here's what I think. I think that an R-rated Blade movie is fantastic because look at Blade 2, look at Blade 3.
Sure.
Fan-fucking-tastic. But look at fucking Suicide Squad where they shoot and kill.
I was gonna say, don't say Twilight.
Yeah,
don't say Twilight.
But like they kill hundreds of fucking things with guns and shoot them all the time. And it's PG-13. So you can do it with Blade. And if you look at Blade 2, which is by far the superior Blade visually, in my opinion, like every time Blade shot somebody, there wasn't any blood. They just kind of disintegrated to dust. So, I mean, you could easily make it and cut back the language. And again, I'll take this back to, I just watched Coming to America. And it was PG-13. I'm like, how do you do Coming to America on PG-13? But it didn't fucking matter at all. You can tell a great story without pigeonholing it. My fear would be, and this is where my fear is with Deadpool.
And you can push PG-13 quite a bit these days anyways.
Absolutely. But my only fear with this is that Marvel is going to take their R rating with Deadpool, and it's going to go, they're either going to try to make it over the top R because they want to show that they can do it, or it's going to be hard PG-13 borderline R. We're going to get one fuck, or we're going to get, you know, just like two fucks or something like that, where it's going to be like, okay, it's enough. Fucks. But again, you also don't need all of that if the story doesn't call for it. There's a reason The Big Lebowski is a classic, but fuck is said like every 13 seconds or some shit. It just works in the story, and that's not the reason you like The Big Lebowski. So I think that there's a way to do it, making it necessary and not necessary. And I think Marvel can tiptoe that line with Blade. It'll just be hard because, you know, you're used to seeing Chris Christopherson as Whistler cussing people out and Wesley Snipes. And, well, you know, who knows?
Yeah, I'm not super worried because Marvel has done enough to prove to me that, you know, rated R, rated PG-13, fucking rated G, I don't care.
Yeah.
They can make the good stories. So I think this became a much bigger deal than it needed to be just because he said, oh, Deadpool 3 will be the only R movie. Huh. That could have meant anything. But and yeah, so I just wanted to bring that up.
Do we even have a script for Blade yet?
I don't know. That's a good question. I would imagine if they've already cast a lead, pre-production has already at least begun. I mean, I don't know.
So, I mean,
I don't really know how it works.
I feel they'll figure it out. I'm not worried about it. I mean, whatever. I mean,
there is enough Blade to draw from. Right.
As long as it's not like they did with Punisher Warzone, because that movie was fucking dog shit.
No, I agree, but also they righted the ship with the Punisher series.
True, and then if you look at like Judge Dredd with Sylvester Stallone was fucking terrible, but that Dredd with Carl Urban is
I am the law. Yep.
But I do love.
Hey, let's move on to some wrestling news.
Yeah, let's move on because I can go through all this stuff quite quick. I'm kind of excited about some of this.
Let's do it because I haven't actually watched it. I only watched clips, but so Big Show. Props to this guy. This guy is kind of like, I put him on the same level as The Undertaker. He's the guy who won't end his career, and he has no reason to because he keeps doing what he's doing. Yeah. And he's now on AEW. Now, I don't know what capacity Paul White is on AEW. What is he? Is he an announcer? Is he in-ring talent? What's going on?
AEW is, they have a new show coming, and him and Tony Schiavone are going to be the color commentators.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And then what's funny is that when Big Show...
Because Paul White is a lot more well-spoken than I think people give him credit for.
Well, his show, The Big Show,
like a Mick Foley,
was pretty good on Netflix. Like, I watched 2 episodes,
I love
3 episodes,
that show.
and it was, I mean, he's just a funny guy. I loved him in McGruber. I thought he was fucking funny as shit in McGruber. But he comes out, he's like, he gets out there, the AEW crowd's cheering him, and he's like, how many of you saw this turn come? And then he puts his hand up because all WWE ever did was just fucking turn him from heel to face.
I saw that, yep.
And then and he was wearing a shirt that said no more BS, Paul White, AEW, which I like too, no more Big Show. So I think this is good because, again, I think this is where WWE is dropping the ball because they're letting this good talent just fucking slip. The Big Show can be a color commentator. Put him in the Performance Center.
He's someone who I thought would retire as a WWE star.
So did I. And this is where I get confused with what WWE is doing because Paul White And WWE, from what I read, couldn't agree to terms on a contract, and 2 days later he was with AEW, which good for him because they fucking dropped Sting. Yeah. The Big Show, Paul White.
This was like a Lex Luger move, dude.
Well, Paul White started his career on TNT with WCW. Sting started his career with WCW on TNT. So like I think that this is a good place for them to go because AEW is fun and I like it, and they're starting to take shots at WWE. And the Young Bucks are going up against Jericho and MJF, and they were out there, you know, shit talking each other, cutting a fat promo. And the Bucks went up to Jericho and said, "Jericho,
that's gonna be an awesome match.
Where would you be without the Young Bucks in AEW? I can tell you, you'd be curtain jerking at the Performance Center for real talent, or something like that." But I remember he said, "You'll be curtain jerking at the Performance
Center." Oh my God!
And I was like, Jesus, dude! Like they're taking these hardcore fucking shots at each other, and they're calling shots at WWE. Which is great because I love seeing this because it's going to motivate WWE to get better. They're running great storylines. They have they have the Undisputed Era who's broken up because Adam Cole's turned his back on all of them. You've got
I saw that. Yeah,
you've got Finn Balor who's running shit down there.
Fucking love Adam Cole.
You've got great wrestling that's happening on NXT, but it's getting overlooked by what AEW is doing because AEW is putting their main event talent on first, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because you look at what I saw on Wednesday, and you had Shaq, who was in AEW. And Shaq has been all over. And if you all remember, Shaq a couple years ago was supposed to wrestle Big Show at WrestleMania, but never did it.
Oh, I remember.
Right. So now we got them both. But Shaq went out there and put on a fucking match with Cody. It wasn't just like he stood on the apron the whole time.
I saw that. You know, him and Stephen Amell impress me the most as celebrity guest stars because, you know, there's a very big difference between Stephen Amell showing up at All Out and, you know, wrestling a 25-minute match with fucking Cody and doing actually really well. There's a big difference between that and, you know, Shaq taking a fucking table bump than someone like Snooki showing up and waving and leaving.
Right. Like, and Shaq goes out there and he's locking up and he's taking knees and he laid down a fucking Brody Lee power bomb, and it was great. And like to see Shaq out there, and it seems like these people when they're in AEW, they're motivated. Like Tully Blanchard fucking wrestled again for the first time in a lifetime.
Did he really?
Yeah, it was Jurassic Express versus FTR with Tully Blanchard.
Oh, I fucking love Jurassic Express as well.
With JJ Dillon on the side of him. JJ Dillon took off his shoes so the fucking FTR could hit somebody with the shoe.
Oh my God.
It was great.
How did Tully do? I haven't seen him wrestle since like since that old archival footage of like NWA
dude, I saw him get in the
how did he do?
It was on in the background. I watched up, saw him get into the ring, and then threw somebody out. And then he went to go hit a suicidal through the ropes, and he stopped and strutted through the ring and said nope, and then tagged out. Dude, it was great. It was fucking cool.
That's awesome.
But dude, I was excited, and so Revolution.
Whoops, sorry, folks. I think we lost the connection right here. This is going to be fun to edit in. So let me try to reconnect with Josh,
which is going to be fucking bananas, and I'm excited for that. I won't be able to watch it.
This isn't hard to connect.
But I'll see kind of what happens with it after that. So I cannot wait to see.
I just lost connection with you, right?
But I'm still going, buddy.
Yeah, I was still going too. This will be a fucking. Oh my God, this will be fun. Anyways, continue.
So Paul White basically comes out and says that AEW has signed a huge Hall of Fame worthy talent that they have signed to a multi-year deal that is going to be debuted on Sunday, and the internet's going.
I saw
crazy.
That. So who do you fucking think it is?
Okada.
You think it's going to be Okada?
You got a note right here that says Okada coming to AEW and our Impact, and in what capacity? And then I started thinking,
but he's the face of New Japan right now. He can't leave New Japan unless they have a multi-platform. I was almost going to say, unless they have a AEW and New Japan.
Well, I mean, it seems like they might because they've been having Moxley go over there and wrestle, and people come back and forth. But the internet's going crazy. It's not Batista, he's retired. It's not CM Punk, he's retired.
No, it wouldn't be that big of a deal if it was Batista.
So that's why I'm just curious who it is. And they're going to find out on Sunday, so I was just curious who you think it would be. Because it's going to be a huge talent. I can't think of anybody from WWE. You know, people are like, oh, it's going to be...
No, I don't think so.
Some people are saying that it's going to be Brock Lesnar. And I'm like, whoo. But I don't think so, because I think that now that we got Bobby Lashley, we're going to end up getting Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley.
Yeah. It could be someone from It could be someone from like Ring of Honor.
It could be. They said a Hall of Fame talent. So I don't know if it's somebody at the end of their career or someone. And I can't think of anybody that WWE's released recently that could be there. So
that leads me to believe it's a WWE star because they use the term Hall of Fame. Right. And that's not usually reserved for something like Ring of Honor or New Japan.
I wonder if we're going to get Christian who shows up.
No, didn't Christian just come back at the Rumble, though?
He did, but that's it.
I'm trying to think who could actually show up. That's very likely WWE. I don't know, man. And the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm thinking it could be someone like a Lesnar.
See, that's what.
Even if they are setting up a Lesnar-Lashley storyline, I mean, it could very well be.
Lesnar's a free agent. I mean, he could really just kind of pop in and pop out how he pleases. I mean, who knows? It's going to be interesting because I'm curious to see what he has to do. But because of this, I'm gonna check it out. I'm excited, but because of this now, what's going on with AEW? NXT is talking about moving from Wednesdays to Tuesdays after WrestleMania, and really, a lot of people have been talking, saying, "Oh, does this mean that like NXT and WWE is admitting defeat to AEW and blah blah blah?" And I don't think it is. I think what it's going to do, I think it'd be very, very smart for WWE to do this because they can own Monday nights, they can own Tuesday nights, they can own Friday nights. You give AEW Wednesday nights, and on Tuesdays, you get more eyes on your products. You can focus on your product, not trying to compete with somebody else and hoping they switch channels.
Yeah. Now, do you, I followed those when AEW first launched, but I haven't in a long time since I don't watch either religiously anymore. Do you know what the viewership numbers are like between Dynamite and NXT?
Dynamite's been winning.
Okay.
So
I know it doesn't matter these days. It's not the Monday Night Wars era anymore, but I'm just curious which product has more eyes on them.
But AEW does on Wednesdays, but they're also going up against NXT, so they're not going up against the Raw, the SmackDowns, or the big names like the Reigns and stuff. So that's why I don't think WWE's too worried, and it wouldn't be too bad for them to go to Tuesdays. Also what NXT has done is they've been keeping their talents there. They've been keeping their Adam Coles, their Tommaso Ciampas, their Finn Balor's and stuff, because they can build a different brand. And WWE, instead of being like, this is our minor leagues going to the pros, they're like, hey, this is our other division, and we're here and we're just as good. And again, I haven't watched WWE a long time, but I do just want to say real quick, Bobby Lashley did win the WWE Championship on Monday Night Raw this week. It was crazy to see how long this man's career has been. He joins a very short lineage of black champions in WWE, following The Rock. Farouk was the first ever black champion in WWE. You've got Booker T. You've got
five times,
and now you've got Bobby Lashley, who more than has earned it for his time in. This dude is a legit MMA fighter. He's an Army veteran. He is just a fucking badass all across the board.
I did not know he trained with Lance Storm, because Lance Storm posted a picture of like Lashley's first day at the Storm Wrestling Academy. I was like, holy shit.
Lashley is a beast. I cannot be more excited for him. I saw videos of when Kofi Kingston won, how like it affected MVP and like a lot of the black athletes in WWE, like how it felt like it was for them. And to me, like I feel like Bobby Lashley is speaking for a generation of people who watched WWE, who felt like, hey man, it's cool that McIntyre's champion, but he's a big white Scottish guy. It doesn't really represent who I am. And I like that they're doing this because Bobby Lashley is somebody who I believe is a legit badass, because he has an MMA fighting record to back it up. He's won Impact Championships. He's won fucking where else did he go? He wrestled in Japan. He wrestled. He's just a badass, dude. So like,
yeah, he was. I think the biggest profile other than WWE was TNA.
Yeah, but I mean, this is good for
before
him.
Impact. Yeah,
and I think that this is going to be huge for WWE going forward. And I also think that this is what's going to set them up for their future going forward, because now they're signing with NBC on Peacock. So now Fastlane is going to be WWE's first ever pay-per-view on Peacock, and now you have Bobby Lashley.
I might get on that.
I'm gonna get it. Do you have Peacock?
Yeah, I have the free one.
Well, that's all you get. If you have the $4.99 tier, you get the WWE Network, and that's what I have. So you can just use my sign-in.
Oh, so that's considerably cheaper than the network.
Yeah, plus you get Peacock. So yeah. So I think that WWE is bringing in Bobby Lashley as a legit MMA fighter. I think we're going to get a surprise appearance by Brock Lesnar, and I think that we're going to get a 3-way with Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre, and Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania. That's what I think.
My God, just the amount of fucking weight in that ring just between those 3 guys.
Because think about it this way, and here's my long-term booking here. Who did Drew McIntyre beat to become WWE champion? He beat Brock Lesnar. And then you got The Miz, who cashed in after a successful win by Drew McIntyre. So Drew McIntyre loses the title unfairly to The Miz, and then you get Brock Lesnar come back, who wants his title back from Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. So now you got yourself the biggest, most fucking muscular 3-way with 2 legit MMA fighters, even though Brock Lesnar has a shitty MMA record, and Drew McIntyre, who is bigger and more powerful than Brock Lesnar. Sign me the fuck up, NBC.
Hey, I just saw this right here on the AEW secret signing. I don't know if you saw this. Tony Khan just provided a small hint on an interview. He said the wrestler who is debuting is male and is, quote, one of my all-time favorite wrestlers. Now, if you remember, Tony Khan is a huge ECW mark when he was a kid. So...
Ooh, I wonder who it could be.
I don't want it to be someone like fucking Sandman or anything like that, or Tommy Dreamer. I don't want that. But
RVD?
The moment they said right here, the moment they said in quotes, all-time favorite wrestlers, I immediately jumped to ECW because he's talked about being such a huge ECW
but I mean, who
fan.
could come from ECW and still put on a multi-year deals?
Or is Hall of Fame level? Because let's face it, not a lot of them were. Maybe RVD?
See, that's what I'm thinking, RVD. It could be RVD, and RVD could still go.
But Christian, you're right. Christian is not under contract right now. I just saw as well. So it could be Christian. I don't know. I like it. I like not knowing.
Well, I mean, his 3 favorite wrestlers are Steve Austin, Bret Hart, and Chris Jericho. So, I mean, I'm just curious.
It's not going to be Austin. Dude, it's not going to be Bret Hart.
I'm telling you, man. I had always assumed that we would either get a Bret Hart or a Steve Austin in AEW. Because you could bring in Bret Hart, who could still hang.
We kind of got a Bret Hart.
With who?
Remember, we kind of got Bret Hart when he showed up to reveal the belt.
Oh yeah, that's right. So you bring in Bret Hart, you sign him to
but he's not gonna wrestle or anything. I think they're actually talking about an in-ring talent.
I mean, it could be you could bring in a Bret Hart who could just fucking be a manager for the Hollywood Varsity Blondes, which is Brian Pillman and his tag team partner, and you have that whole lineage there. Or you bring in Steve Austin and have that whole lineage because Steve Austin doesn't really have anything to do with WWE anymore.
No, but I think he's too WWE faithful regardless.
Well, absolutely, but I mean, money talks.
This is true.
I don't know. I mean, again,
so I guess we'll find out tomorrow.
I'll be out of town, so I will miss it, but I'm excited.
I'm gonna keep up with it online, and I don't really care if it's spoiled. I just need to.
I'm not gonna go back and rewatch it. So let me know. And then we got one last little sad note here that I'm gonna let you touch on.
Okay, I don't know if you were a big fan of them, but I'm someone who, as far as music goes, I'm a classic rock guy, specifically 80s hair metal. That's my thing. I love heavy metal. I love hair metal. I like classic rock. I mean, going all the way back to the Beatles to what newer bands like, I don't know, just whatever, like the Strokes or whatever. I just fucking love rock. So the fact that I became such a huge Daft Punk fan in high school was kind of a big deal because it was just a genre of music that was completely out of my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
But I've been a Daft Punk fan since their first album, Homework, and I've never missed an album. I mean, I'm a fan to the point to where, their album Discovery?
Yeah.
Remember that anime movie they released alongside Discovery?
Yeah.
Where I fucking have that on Blu-ray. So, I'm a huge Daft Punk fan, and it broke my heart to hear that they're calling it quits after 20 years or 28 years of being together. And it was also kind of weird because the style of music and the style of production and the concerts they put on that they do was never really something I thought that age would play into.
Yeah.
You know, like you have someone like Motley Crue or the Rolling Stones, and you see them in concert, you're like, man, they're really old now, but they're still putting on a good show. It's just not something I ever thought would be an issue for Daft Punk, and we don't know if age is why they're calling it quits. But
well, I mean,
I'm kind of sad because I love Daft Punk, and I love looking forward to, you know, all the creativity of whatever new album they're coming out with, and we're not going to get that anymore.
Well, maybe Daft Punk too. I mean, they have so much classics that at what point do you just stop and you just become a parody of yourself? Like, I love Motley Crue. I don't give a fuck about their new music. Like, just go play with what works. You guys keep doing your shit. Like, I don't want to hear your new music.
But that's the thing. If you look at all of Daft Punk's albums, everything was different. Every single album was something completely different.
Well, maybe they take off and they. You know, well, I mean, and also too, maybe Daft Punk is a touring band. I mean, like that's kind of you want to see Daft Punk, at least from what I get from them, because it's just kind of like
the Robots,
just like Gorillaz. You want to see the Gorillaz put on a show because of what they do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe they just realize that now's the time with their age and everything else, and it's time to roll out. I'm with you. I thought Daft Punk, especially Daft Punk, is something that could always go on forever, just like the Blue Man.
Forever, yeah.
You're a symbol. You're the helmet. You're the music. You're not the person. So I don't know. I just hope that we don't get any shitty ass solo projects.
I mean, we probably will. But you know what? Solo and side projects can often work out really well. You just brought up the Gorillaz. I mean, look how that turned out.
Yeah.
That started off as as just a side project from the dude from Blur and Del the Funky Homo Sapien and so on and so forth. And it became this thing.
Yeah, but then look at like Gwen Stefani. See, No Doubt was great. Gwen Stefani was terrible.
Gwen Stefani was terrible if you were not a 17-year-old girl.
Or you look at...
Otherwise, Gwen Stefani was awesome.
Yeah, I guess.
So, I don't know. It caught me off guard. I mean, if you told me I would wake up that morning and watch that video of Daft Punk splitting up, I would have told you were crazy.
Yeah, I didn't think that they would either, but
yeah.
But they know what they're doing. Just like I'd rather them do this or than do what AC/DC does. Because AC/DC, at this point, they're just a name that tours because they just want money. Like, fucking the drummer goes deaf and they're like, whatever, get somebody in and let's go. They just become like a cog in the machine.
Yeah.
So...
I will say, though, the AC/DC concert I went to in 2010 was fucking fantastic.
Dude, not to take anything away from them doing it, but they're clearly...
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
It's clearly like, guys, we get it. Like, thank you, but you don't have to. And if Daft Punk doesn't have to, they got more than enough money, then why not?
Yeah. So, hey, Daft Punk, thanks for all the great music over the years. I mean, it's been, like I said, you got a rock guy to listen to electronica, and that's kind of a big deal. I tend to be stubborn with my likes, and I stick to what I'm comfortable with. So, the fact that I became such a big Daft Punk fan is something. So yeah, I think that does it for this time, huh?
Yeah, I think we are done, man. That was a good time, Tony.
I am starving.
Me too, dude. I'm very hungry.
Yes, it was a great time. Thank you all for listening. You can follow me on Twitter at ToneZone81.
Y'all get me on Twitter at BruceBain66.
And we will see you guys next time. Thank you so much.
Later, Gators.